All right, Jeremy here, Jeepster Unlimited 303-666-9020, partsbreakers.com. I think I need a tetanus shot after that one. It had probably 50-year-old dust and dirt and grime and rust and what have you, as far as what came off the top of this thing. Actually, this is gorgeous frame, absolutely beautiful. And on top of that, I washed a tranny over there. So don't let anybody ever tell you that owners don't participate in the operational side of the mess, because I got a mouthful of it to prove it. So anyway, a couple things I'm going to go over. This is the final approval video, essentially. It's obviously not completely dismantled, but it's pretty close to it. And originally I had said that it might be easier to do a rolling chassis. That was until I got a call about an hour ago from a guy looking for exactly these axles, and I didn't sell them yet, but I told him, let me see if I can get him another set. I might have another set out here, the same ratio. And he was really interested in them because this one, it happens to be an open knuckle 30, which I thought it was closed, but it isn't open on this one. So going back a little bit on that, there is I'm gonna turn this water off. We got a thing over here that helps it so the machine doesn't freeze up at night. And I gotta make sure I remember to do that, otherwise we waste a lot of coolant. Anyway, it's nighttime. These lights are fake lights. Well, what do they call it? Anyway, so yeah, let's go over this thing, because I know I'm already out of light. And if there's something that you see on it for the customer that does have the deposit on this frame, I don't usually mention names, just, you know, it's between us. But almost all of our videos that you've probably seen, or if you've followed us over the years, have a customer in mind, and this one is no different. So nothing is sold off this, and I haven't done that yet. But I originally went at it with, hey, I'm out of time. Let's just do a rolling chassis. I'll get the axles later. And then, like I said, I got a call. So I know you're still a little up in the air on your setup, and that. So I'm not going to even call that guy back till tomorrow. But if you still want to go that route, we're just gonna get you the frame, the transmission, as we spoke already. You know, obviously you got to approve of this thing first, but it came out better than I thought. There were a couple areas back here that I couldn't really see, and they're absolutely gorgeous. Inside channels, outside, and exactly what I had kind of predicted on this frame. It had so much grime and dust and whatever else that was, you know, pummeled into there, and trust me, it literally tasted 50 years old. That dusty smell was coming off this thing the whole time. So, but exactly what I thought. It was going to be well preserved, and it is. And I got most of this off, but there's still a little bit. I mean, I worked on this for a good hour, and I still got a little bit of crap, mud, or whatever, tar, whatever you want to call it. But no cracks. And I'll relook at it in the morning. So, I mean, I just wanted to at least show you that, yeah, I am out here late, and not just that, but also show you, you know, I think we're good to go. I think you're going to be real happy with this guy. And also, we're going to yank this T-case off, and it looks, both of these actually look, I mean, you got a score on the transmission. It looks like somebody had gone through these at one time. Obviously, I've cleaned this, but that came off. I mean, that's not, you know, that somebody painted it, and usually when they paint them or like that, and it's hard to say, but usually it means somebody's gone through it. And the looks of both of these, I mean, these do not look like 50-year-old. I would imagine these are probably less than 10 years old, but who knows? It's hard to say on them, and you can get them open. We did drain the fluid, and that looked great in them. Torque converter came out good, everything like that. So I might have to start up my other phone just to give you a kind of close-ups on some of this area. So as of now, like I said, it's the transmission, the leaf springs, and the frame. And then if there's something that you don't want me to let go, and I'm planning, I was going to leave tonight, but it ain't going to happen. So I will, you know, earmark it for you, and we can bring it down. And if you decide, you know, on something else that I mentioned for someone else, that's okay. I mean, you're at this point the first customer, so it is what it is. You know, we can tell them, we can try to find something else for them, and we can always do I have later axles we can set up for that guy. He was doing a full frame off, and he wanted the open knuckle with the drum brakes, which is crazy because nobody usually wants that set up. But That's kind of what he was looking for, which is great because these are hard to sell. Usually we have to sell these with a disc brake conversion and whatnot. So anyway, it is neither here nor there, but I'm gonna give you a 2-phone action here and just show you everything on this guy as best as I can. And just, I mean, really came out nice. Like I said, most of this paint is here, is original paint that's on this thing. There's absolutely no rust on it, no cancer, no rot, no nothing. That bracket, that steering bracket, I believe you asked me or texted me earlier. Yes, that I will include that, or I'll include one of them. So you have that set up for that gearbox you'll be putting on this thing at some point. And then as far as the rest of your brackets, it's going to be dependent on your engine, and you should, especially if you have the, I think you said a V8, those are easier brackets to come up with. The Buick motor is a pain in the butt to find power steering brackets on, so it's a good thing you don't have that one, because that one I am out of. So springs are in great shape, and these were, like I said earlier, these were beefed up. They already have a beefier spring, but they look like they're in good shape. They got a good arch. They're not inverted, they're not flat. I don't see any cracking in them and whatnot. So apologize, I'm having to do this in a flashlight. I'd rather be in the sunlight. And I'd say I do it in the morning, but today was absolutely nuts. I anticipate tomorrow being the same way. I always tell people this is our busy time of year, and I don't think that, I mean, I don't think people understand when I say that it is busy, which is not a bad, I love it. I mean, I love it. I hate being slow, so. But look at these guys. I mean, even on the top of the mounts, these things love on, especially East Coast frames, Midwest, even Colorado that have been sitting out in fields. They'll start wallowing out where the bushings go, and that's perfectly round like it should be. I know that's insignificant over the grand scheme of things, but just goes to show you how nice and clean the rest of this frame is. So I peeled off most of whatever liner or tar or whatever crap they had on it, but again, I thought I got most of it, but I'm still missing a good layer there. That I know that stuff's coming off in droves. I'm gonna wear some glasses next time, because I not only mouthful of it, but took a few of it in my eyes. So back support, just absolutely cherry, all where the tie-in welds are, beautiful. No, like I said, absolutely no cracking whatsoever. And I say cracking, for those of you who don't know, Jeepster frames, a lot of these box frames that were, you know, partially boxed and then open, are definitely prone to cracking. So there's this one's been done, which is awesome, and they did a pretty good job. There's a little bit of fish plate there, you can see that area where that front box meets that rear box. You got the engine weight up front, see it here too. That's usually, and what I love about this thing is this was preventative, and you can tell because when it's not, usually there's a crack, and it usually starts right there, and there's absolutely no crack, top, bottom, surround. So somebody obviously knew in the construction of this thing when they got it back in the day. There's some more grime I left on there, that, or somebody told them that, hey, you know, these cracked here, so let's get ahead of it. And that's great, because once they start cracking, it's almost impossible to sell them when they're like that. You can fix them, but it warps them so quickly, they twist so easily. And these old Buicks, don't take that motor lightly. That V6, we're actually building a few of them right now because they're gotten so hard to get. But for a little V6, it's a rowdy little V6, as my buddy likes to say. And I'm not cold, but just hyped up. I'm going on about 45 minutes of sleep. We had a baby girl, so it's anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. Point is that whatever the point is that I'm lost my train of thought. Check this thing out. I totally forgot this had this in here. This will sell really quickly. Something you might want to consider though, and I can't remember the brand of this guy, and I don't know the inside of it. I mean, the outside is in pretty dang good shape. I don't see any rust scaling wise. I mean, it's got a little oxidation on it, but there's no layers being lost here. Nothing that came off of it. Imagine the inside's actually okay. And even if it was, you can always clean these. But I mean, this is not factory. The tanks in these are fairly dinky. This isn't easy to find anymore. They used to make these things, and I don't know a ton about them, but I have a buddy who's a kind of a gearhead with some of the older, not just Jeepster, but just CJ and Kaiser era stuff. So he's seen this video, or this, he was here tonight as I was videoing this tonight, and made a comment on it. So I want you to be aware that that's something, especially in your build, you may just want to keep in there. I'll find a price on it if you or anybody else is interested, because this stuff is going to get pulled pretty early on in the morning. I am going to try to roll out of here tomorrow, and I still got to get this back bumper off. These are actually worth some money to the guys who are rebuilding these things and want the classic look. I'm sure you have something else going on yours. So I can't get up underneath it. Obviously with the light, it's going to be very difficult tonight. The lights on this forklift are pointing down, not up. And I will, I'll take a look at it in the morning, just make sure. I didn't see anything earlier, but I'll just double check that there's nothing on it, you know, cracking or like I said, that's rotted out. I don't think we have anything like that to be worried about, but I will just double check, because I had it up in the air when I was washing it, but it started getting dark pretty quickly out here, and I didn't mean to leave it off this far. But okay, so same thing here. No, absolutely, look out, see, absolutely nothing right there, nothing through there. And I'm just showing you that because that's actually not even there. This is right where it, so this is where you would see it here happen. And again, what happens a lot of times is these have cracked. They've cracked, and then people think, oh crap, I got to fix my frame. And at that point, it depends. And if it's a little bit, it's one thing, but usually if it's here, it's starting to twist around here, especially with that Buick or anything heavier in them. And then you're just chasing your own tail at that point. So I'm really happy they did that. I really like the way this one came out. And you know, it's funny, I priced this one as a mid-grade, and this one actually ended up coming out to be the top grade. And that's one thing you guys got to know for anybody that catches this down the road. When we say pre-dismantle, we're going to price it accordingly to that. And a lot of times you're going to get a much better deal on something because we're trying to build it into the, you know, we don't have to call a customer back and go, hey, this ended up being worse. What's that old saying? You know, under promise, over deliver, and that's really what we try to follow. So in this customer, in this case, ended up getting a better frame for more bang for his buck. And that's not always an option. If the frame is already stripped down, ready to go, the price is what the price is, and we don't really have a lot of negotiating on our frames. But on the frames that are still sitting under Jeeps, if you're ever trying to, you know, work something out with us, and your time frame is somewhat, you know, larger than everybody else's, sometimes people just need them tomorrow, and that's totally understandable. But usually we can work out something that we don't 100% know, and that not always the case on every frame. There's some frames, TJ frames are like that, for example. They just sell so quick. All right, so I got to go get water. So I'm freaking caffeine. I think it might just be some caffeine. I ate too much tonight. Keep myself going. So, all right. Anything else? I don't think so. I think that's it. So just to recap one more time. Frame, leaf springs, maybe rolling chassis. If I can't close on that deal in the morning, or I don't hear from you otherwise on stuff we've talked about, then I'll leave these under and I'll get them back from you later. But I have a feeling I can close on these axles in the morning. And T-case I'm going to pull. If you reconsider anything on it, and by no means don't, if you don't need it, don't buy it, and there's no point of it. But if you do, or you think you might, grab it, because this is, I priced, the price I gave you was a better, you know, I know we'd go back up a little bit, but it was a much better price than if we a la carte all these items out. And if it had been some old grimy T-case, I would have said maybe pass on it. But I can tell it's had a little bit of work. I can just the speedo pickup. There's a few things on it I see that's been done on it. It's obviously got the twin stick shifter. I mean, somebody's put some money in these, and it's hard to say what's inside, but there's some goodies in that one, I have a feeling. And usually something like that on its own is $800 to $1,000. I usually don't like losing pricing on there because it changes so quickly. But you know, I'll give you an example. 18s, which is the offset, right? Those are a little earlier. I used to have them all over the place. I went out to find one yesterday. I was sure, I told this guy I 100% have one. Nope, not only do I not 100% have one, I don't even have a core to give him, because he said I even take a core. So anyway, all right, cool. So 44 rear centered, front 30 up front, open knuckle, drum brakes, and anybody who has that axle and wants to know the easiest, I mean, there's a couple easy ones. You can take a 76 on up, 8 to, you know, narrow track and basically swap it right in. But what we like to do, and the reason we do this, and I know people have different feelings on this with steering and whatnot, but one of the reasons we like to do it is that you keep your gearing, and we like to sell the conversion, the disc brake conversion, and we pull it off of later. We swap the knuckles, the hub assembly, everything gets swapped over, and they bolt right up. And then, you know, and you just adjust them as you go down the road with them later if you have some cast or something on them. But these were in the Jeep, so these aren't, you know, not too bad. was a little bummed out. I already told you this, but anybody else, I do have a Scout 44 out here. I had been sitting on for not too long, but a while, and got it out for a project the other day. Called a buddy of mine, and he gave me some insight that the knuckles, and mine's missing knuckles, ironically, are basically the only thing that are valuable on the whole thing. And since they're not there, it's not, you know. So anybody wants a smoking deal on a Scout front end without 44, it's an arrow. It looks like these guys. Doesn't have any knuckles on it, but it is a full axle. I'm not sure the gear ratio, but you know, if you can do something with it, by all means, I'll make somebody a deal on it and move it down the road. I don't have any business to mess with stuff like that I just, not Jeep related. I don't know much about it, so it's all my butt here. All right, 303-666-9020, partsbreakers.com. I'm gonna try to take a quick video of this for another conversion we're doing over here. But I gotta drive the forklift around there to do it. So, all right, take it easy. I'll see my customers in Denver either tomorrow afternoon or Friday morning. I'm going to be hightailing it because I got to get my butt back here. The baby and mama don't want me gone for more than a day, so I'll be back up here Friday. It's going to be a quick trip, but we'll get it done and pick up. I think we got a couple Jeeps we're grabbing while we're down there, and we'll go from there. Thanks a lot, guys.